Indiana versus Oregon is so important because both of these teams are top 10 ranked, top 5 in most power ratings, and they are not blue bloods. They are not. Even if they won the national title every year for 10 years in a row with a 16-0 record or maybe soon 17-0 record with another college football playoff expansion, neither Oregon nor Indiana would be considered a blue blood program. They wouldn't. They just do not have the wins. They do not have the college football history, and particularly Indiana. But before the 21st century, Oregon really doesn't have that either. Before I continue, liking the video, watching the video all the way through, and commenting your thoughts down below are the best ways to support the channel as they help push me into the algorithm, help me to receive a larger paycheck that I can use to reinvest in producing elite analysis for you all. Subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, sharing the video around, and supporting us in other ways that you can find out via the description are other awesome ways to support our operation at College Football with Sam. We are becoming the best. We want to be the best. Thank you all for making that possible. And yet, right here, right now, these are two teams that are viewed by models, that are viewed by people with eyeballs, that are viewed by analysts, by fans, by NFL people, film gurus, experts, everyone covering college football and everyone involved for the most part, especially those who know what they're talking about, view both of these teams as Big Ten title contenders. They view them as national title contenders. They view them as certainly top 10 teams. Oregon is viewed as number 1 or number 2 or number 3, depending on who you ask. Indiana is viewed at the very worst as a top 10 team, and models have them top 5. They're not blue bloods, and yet Oregon right now is recruiting as if they're a blue blood. Both teams are playing as if they are a blue blood. Both have the finances and the backings of blue blood programs. I would argue that Indiana and Oregon right now are playing and competing in coaching closer to what we all would expect out of a blue blood program than USC, than Michigan, than right now Texas. I would argue right now Oklahoma too. Penn State, if you consider them a blue blood, and I do, but not everyone does. Certainly more than Penn State and more than Nebraska. There are really only 9 blue bloods. We already have 6 of those teams. Alabama and Ohio State, they're doing phenomenally, so I didn't want to include them in a conversation where I believe Oregon and Indiana are performing at a higher level on the field, and I'd argue off the field, than many of those programs as well. It's impressive watching what Oregon and Indiana are doing. It's exceptionally impressive. So that's why this is so important, and that's why this can be a historic game. Because, oh, and even Notre Dame. Almost forgot to mention Notre Dame. Was searching for that 9th blue blood program, but yes, Oregon and Indiana right now both look more impressive than Notre Dame. They are winning on the field more than Notre Dame. I'd argue they're better coached than Notre Dame, probably have better backing. At least Oregon does. I know Oregon has better financial backing and better recruiting than almost any program in college football right now. Indiana, better backing, it's up there. Recruiting, I think that this is a game where if Indiana wins, you may start to see recruiting pick up a bit and snowball. First and foremost, the title implications of this game are important. So the winner, I think, will be a lock, essentially, to go to the Big Ten championship game. That's number 1. Oregon, they're only 7.5-point favorites, not underdogs, over Indiana this Saturday. Indiana is the 7.5-point underdog. From there on out, Oregon will be probably a double-digit point favorite over every opponent they play, including Rutgers on the road, including Washington on the road. Probably they'll be double-digit favorites from here on out, no matter if they win or lose, I think. You look, I mean, maybe not at Iowa, maybe not at Washington, but probably, given how Oregon has performed, they'd even be double-digit favorites there. Indiana was nearly a double-digit favorite at Iowa. 7.5, 8.5. They do not have the talent baked in with most models that Oregon does. You look at Indiana, After this game, they won't be a double-digit favorite over Penn State, but they'd be favored over Penn State, or very close to it right now. I imagine as both of those teams continue to play, unless something radically changes for Penn State, Oregon will be favored, or Indiana will be favored in that game. And you look at the remainder of Indiana's schedule with UCLA, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Purdue, for example. Um, Very easy games, very winnable games. At Maryland, neither of these teams have challenging schedules. So I think the winner here will go to Indianapolis and play for the Big Ten championship game. Number two, the winner of this game will have an argument, a very strong argument, to be number one in strength of record and even number one in power ratings. If Indiana goes into Autzen, where the travel and the home field environment is going against them, and they win and they look like the better team in doing so, and it's not a controversial, not even a close win, why wouldn't they be the number one team in power ratings, at least right now? If Oregon wins dominantly, while they're already close to being number one in power ratings, if not number two, a dominant win here would certainly put them at number one, and they would be a surefire national title contender, and the odds of one of those two teams playing for the national title or winning it would be up there, and they would be in that conversation. Oregon already is. I would argue Indiana already is, but they would further cement themselves as being a part of that conversation. The loser of this game could even be in that conversation, depending on how the 60 minutes on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time play out. Number three is, for a lot of these players, this is a chance for them to kind of debut themselves, to showcase themselves, to interview for the NFL draft on the field, informally. I imagine plenty of NFL scouts will be there. These teams are both littered with NFL talent. Oregon obviously is, with the talent they have, the bodies they have, the size. Indiana has some sneaky future NFL players that will be playing on Sunday. D'Angelo Pons, Michael Kamara, Aiden Fisher, maybe Tyreek Tucker, for example, Carter Smith at tackle. Fernando Mendoza is not a sneaky future NFL player. Him and Dante Moore are both competing for round one, pick one in the 2026 NFL draft. Number four is more Indiana related, and that's because Indiana, with the talent they have and their recent history and history overall, is obviously not going to carry the same brand weight and the same perception right now that Oregon does. That will change if they win this game. If Indiana wins this game, the entire college football landscape, at least in reaction to Week 7, will be turned upside down. Everything that you knew about blue chip ratio, about a size disadvantage in the trenches, everything you knew about hype, about branding, about athleticism, about, well, this team is the five-star athlete, so of course they're going to win. And that will remain true in a lot of instances, all those things for picking a team to win versus picking a team to lose. But all of those things would be violated. And rarely are they violated, especially in an instance like this where there isn't a rivalry at play. This isn't Alabama versus Auburn. This isn't Michigan versus Ohio State, where sometimes the team with inferior high school recruiting talent, even inferior NFL draft talent, wins due to matchups, wins due to having the emotional and psychological edge. This is just a competitive game between two teams that didn't even play last year, that haven't played since the mid-2000s. This is only Oregon's second year in the Big Ten, and this is Indiana's second year of being good in the Big Ten in the 21st century, if you don't really count that COVID year. So Indiana's reputation here, I'm not going to say it's on the line, because if they lose this game and play competitively, that'll boost their reputation, especially if they then win out. A win here would be monumental for Indiana's program. And that leads me to point number 5, which is the program impact. A win here cements, I think, the long-term success of the winner. I think Oregon's going to be successful. I believe they're going to be successful, regardless of whether they win or lose this game. Indiana, I would say the same thing. But a win here for Oregon means that the Ducks have not lost a regular season game since 2022, and that streak will probably extend into 2026, for example. A win for Indiana means that you have not lost a Big Ten game under Cignetti, with the exception of losing to the Buckeye team that won the national title and had so far one of the more dominant playoff runs in recent memory. That would be your only Big Ten loss. That's pretty incredible, given that loss came in your first year at a massive talent disadvantage where you had to go into the hornet's nest of the horseshoe. That was an awesome team, and you were talent limited. To make that much of a jump from year one to year two if you're Indiana, and then to have your only loss be to that Ohio State team, and you beat this Oregon team, and you're also undefeated against Michigan, you beat Iowa at their own place, playing their own game, the game they wanted you to play. Talk about impressive. Talk about perception changing. If Indiana wins this game, there's no incentive with the development they've had on Fernando Mendoza, on much of their defense, on players such as Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr., on their own offensive line. From a developmental angle, there would be no reason for a high-level recruit to not choose Indiana if they win this game. And they have the financial backing, believe me. Maybe not as much as Oregon, but both of these teams, regardless of their financial backing, and they have a lot of that, are programs that I respect. They aren't blue bloods, but I would argue Oregon is a new blood. They're a team that is going to act and play and coach as if they were a blue blood over the next several years, as long as Lanning is there. I'm starting to get the same belief and confidence that that will be Indiana under Cignetti. So that's why this game is so important. It has the opportunity to push one of these teams through the glass ceiling, and either of these teams this year, they can win their first national championship. Oregon's first ever. I don't even know if Indiana's ever won a national title. You can roast me about my lack of knowledge as to whether or not Indiana's won a title or not in the comments section, but this is such an important game. I'm so excited to watch it because of that reason. And whoever loses can still have a phenomenal program over the next several years. I think both of these coaches are top 5. They both have top 5 staffs. They have resources that many programs with better college football history would be envious of, would be desperate to have backing them up. This is a critical game. Pay close attention to it, and also pay attention to how people react to this game, because you will see, depending on the result, even if Oregon wins, the favorite wins, and things kind of continue on as usual, you will see changes in how people view the sport, depending on how this game is played and who is the victor. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment your analysis and thoughts down below so I can reciprocate my thoughts with you in the comment section, and check out anything on these end screens that are up here, whether it's a recommended video or playlists for teams that I'm talking about in a preview, prediction, or a reaction. Make sure to hit the notification bell on those, scroll through them, and watch any suggested videos if you are interested. Thank you for helping college football with Sam become the best and the biggest college football brand and channel on YouTube and other social media platforms. We will reach that one day because of your support.